Parliament, and should I say, as it should, so that they work for the people and by the people. It was not clear if the president will consult his deputy in making the changes, even as it emerged that Gachagua has not made any appearance at State House for the past 2 weeks amid escalating political strife. So President keen to stop the widespread dissatisfaction among the youth who have taken the country hostage. But of course, this is a case of we wait and see what happens, whether there will be that shakeup, who will be moved, if any, or what the president will do in as far as containing the unrests that have been observed, and even the questions that are being, so many questions, very valid questions actually, and how he intends to address the same. Read that on page 4 and 5. And then still on the front page, why President stopped pay rise for state officers. Now, President Ruto has bowed to public pressure and directed the Treasury to review a Gazette notice that had increased salaries for CSs, MPs, governors, MCAs, and other top state officers offices with effect from the 1st of July. And of course, yesterday, MP after MP, senator after senator, they were rising and standing up to say, Mimi hawakuniuliza, me, I don't want that increment. The Council of Governors also came out with a statement from their chair, Anne Waiguru, and also they said, don't affect that. And so I like it, that accountability, and pressure, because it can't be that everyone else is living within the means, but the elected leaders are not. So that accountability as demanded by the people, and sensitivity also bearing some fruits. So new pay structure was to be implemented in financial year 2024-25 with effect from the 1st of July, that is this month. But for now, nothing will happen to the same. I decline to implement the Gazette notice and urge the Commission to de-gazette the implementation of the new salary structure. That was CS Moses Kuria, Public Service CS Moses Kuria yesterday. I also see on the back page, judiciary hit with hiring freeze as Treasury limits spending in austerity bid. The Judicial Service Commission has suspended all pending recruitments, including the much-awaited hiring of 11 judges of the Court of Appeal after the National Treasury restricted the judiciary's expenditure to 15% of the appropriate budget. Martha Koome said in a statement yesterday that the circular from Treasury limits expenditure to only critical and essential services. That is on the back page. All right, we go to the front page, although the story is covered on the third page. Why some MPs fear visit to constituents. The short recess for members of parliament, which started last week and runs to July 22nd, is turning out to be one of a kind, especially for lawmakers who voted in favor of the Finance Bill 2024 that has now been withdrawn. And the question people are asking, where are they? That is the question they are asking. Where are these members of parliament? Lawmakers uncharacteristically keep off social events in their constituents to avoid incurring voters' wrath. President praised them as heroes, but critics branded them sellouts, right? So you can read that on page number 3. I also see how goons infiltrated youth protests. Something scared Brenda Kangai on June 25th, the day protesters stormed parliament buildings. She ended her participation in the protests and left for home at 1 p.m., much earlier than she had initially planned. There was something terrifying about some of the faces in the protests. They looked fishy, weird, menacing. It's a story you can read on pages 6 and 7 inside the Daily Nation. Right, when we check what's also being reported, the county news Farmers load bill as magic bullet for ailing cane sector. Sugarcane growers from Nyando and Kericho sugar belts say it will turn around their fortunes. The National Assembly Senate give proposed law the green light. Sugarcane farmers have now called on President William Ruto to pass into law the Sugar Bill 2022 after getting the nod from the National Assembly and the Senate. The farmers from Nyando and Kericho sugarcane belts are confident if the bill is implemented, it will turn around the fortunes of the once vibrant and lucrative sector that is on the verge of collapse. I also see counties' delay in remitting staff cash alarms NSSF. So NSSF is raising concern over the delay by county governments and some state agencies to remit contributions by their employees. NSSF CEO David Koros said counties owe the fund 5 billion shillings, which they have not paid for several months. This is very unfair, especially considering these deductions are done when the payslip is being prepared, but now it is not remitted to the same. Sad one there. The DN2 pullout is the DN2, the property renovations to withstand extreme weather. Expert offers insights into making conditions in your house comfortable and safe during the after floods, strong winds, and other extremes associated with the weather. It's on pages 24 and 25. You can go ahead and read those very important lessons. From the international scene, we have conservatives say Labour rivals heading for victory. Labour fears voters could see the result as a foregone conclusion and stay at home. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak says he has absolutely not given up on winning. I also see women, children trapped at Catholic Church in Khartoum, trapped in a Catholic mission sheltering women and children from the war in Khartoum. Father Jacob Thele Kadan punched new holes in his belt as food supplies dwindled and he grew thinner. You read that disturbing story on page 29. We go to the sports pages. And Humble Humwa all set for second Olympic appearance. Queen's forward tips hungry Shujaa to ruffle feathers in Paris. The 29-year-old forward returns to match fitness after battling persistent runner's knee. Read that on page 39. Then I see Europe's big boys square off in quarters. Action resumes tomorrow and Saturday with Switzerland, Turkey looking to upset the established order. So German, Spain aiming for record extending fourth title as England, France fancy their chances. And so the 8 remaining teams at the European Championships will take center stage in the quarterfinals to be played tomorrow and on Saturday. So the first quarterfinal match will be a huge, actually people are saying this is the final before the final. This is between former champions actually, Spain and Germany. So the hosts will be facing a very, very tough test tomorrow in Stuttgart when they take on Spain at 7 p.m. This is a meeting between two most successful nations in Euros history with 3 titles each. Germany will have home support at Stuttgart Arena, but that will not worry a Spanish side that plays on the front foot. So that match is on tomorrow at 7 p.m. And then the second encounter will be at 10 p.m. Ronaldo will be leading his Portuguese teammates against Mbappe's France. This is a repeat of the Euro 2016 final in Paris when Portugal stand the hosts to win 1-0 thanks to an extra time goal from striker Eder. Who will carry the day tomorrow? We wait and see. That match will be at 10 p.m. Portugal v France. And then on Saturday, the overly overrated England, the Three Lions. They were seconds away from elimination before a 95th minute Jude Bellingham overhead kick rescued them against Slovakia. They will be taking on Switzerland tomorrow on Saturday at 7 p.m. and then on Saturday 10 p.m. Netherlands will be locking horns with the Minos Turkey. Right, quickly we go to the Standard. Senate to Ruto. Rid yourself of excess baggage. Senators, while debating the state of the nation, told the president that for him to ride out the protest storm, he needs to fire the cabinet and advisors, drop the CAS idea, and disband unconstitutional offices. I call on the president to disband the cabinet and reconstitute it afresh, do away with the chief administrative secretary office of the first lady, that is the Kakamega Senator Boni Halwale. On his part, Senate Majority Leader Aaron Cheriot said the Senate wants the National Police Service to seize abductions, unlawful arrests, extrajudicial killings, and exercise restraint. Edwin Sifuna, the Nairobi County Senator, said, I'm calling for an audit for all cases that have been withdrawn by the Director of Public Prosecutions. And it was like yesterday, I was watching and following the debate in the House, and it's like all of the senators, they faced a Damascus moment and they saw the light, and that is what we want, leaders doing what they are expected to do. Right, Azimio demand snap elections for errant MPs. You read that on page 5. Judiciary is the first to feel the heat of trimmed budget, also a story we have highlighted earlier. No pay rise for MPs. Government officials yesterday fell over themselves to deny any role in a salary increase notice for elected leaders, with the executive and other senior members saying the timing is not right as budgets are being trimmed. So you read that on page 6. JSS teachers money woes add to schools' protest anxieties. It's on page 11, and AG flags shady deals in KAA audit, all right, that you can get on page number 18. Back page, this is the sports page. Spain can't tumble and fall as Euro 2024 heads into quarters. Turkey set up Euros quarterfinal date with the Netherlands tomorrow. Euros has brought together some of the best footballers on the planet. And of course, we have highlighted the matches to be played tomorrow and on Saturday. England want to have a second bite at the cherry. England topped Group C with 5 points and will play Switzerland on Saturday. Few of the traditional big hitters have managed to find their form at the Euros. All right. On page 38, Malkia strikers serve off against Puerto Rico in Challenger Cup. Kenyans will be battling for a slot at 2025 FIVB Women's Volleyball Nations League. Coach Munala will select his final Olympic squad after the show in Manila. All right, you get that inside the Standard. And then quickly on the Business Daily, public wage bill up 29 billion shillings, even as SRC freezes pay rise. 24.8 billion shillings pay increases approved in 9 months to March. 4.2 billion went into hiring medical interns for UHC. So you can read that on page, the front page. These are the things that we as a country, we need to know where our money, because we every time they keep telling us about the wage bill, the huge wage bill. So you need to know when they're talking about this wage bill, the figures involved and where these monies are going. So read that on the Business Daily. Treasury budget cuts, delayed payments, derail road projects. Read that as well. Core inflation unchanged despite consumer prices drop. Non-food, non-fuel inflation or core inflation was unchanged in June at 3% despite a significant drop in overall consumer prices. And finally, Taifa Leo wanasemaje? Mawaziri hofu tele. Duru zasema Rais Ruto anajiandaa kuwafuta kazi mawaziri na makatibu fisadi. Wasiwasi umetanda katika baraza la mawaziri, huku Rais William Ruto akiripotiwa kupanga mabadiliko katika juhudi za kuzima maandamano yanayoendelea nchini dhidi ya serikali. Kunani? Acha tusubiri tuone. Madeni yalemaza magavana 30, bado hawajaanzisha miradi mipya ya maendeleo zaidi ya mwaka mmoja tangu waingie mamlakani. Ukurasa wa 4 utapata taarifa ile. Pia naona maandamano, washukiwa 15 kukaa seli kwa siku 7 walihusishwa na vurugu zilizoshuhudiwa katika maandamano jijini Mombasa. Na pale nyuma ni kufa kupona, midume ikipigana Euro kesho. Vita vikuu vyatarajiwa kati ya mibabe wawili, Ujerumani ambao ni wenyeji na Uhispania, kabla Ufaransa na Ureno kumenyana kesho jioni. Right. So that is what's being reported in the dailies. A lot is being reported. A lot is happening in the nation. People, let's continue to pray for our nation. We don't have a substitute. We don't have an alternative. Kenya lazima iwak. Yeah. You have borrowed from a governor. So it has to work because this is the only nation that we have. So every sector, we have to seek accountability. We have to seek for the prosperity of those sectors for the larger good of the nation. So as a believer, let's continue praying for the nation. Right about now, we take a short break, paving way for the video of the day.